Hi, Meg here from I Teach Stamping, and today I'm excited to bring you scraps. I know, that doesn't sound exciting at all, but I was recently cleaning out my stamp room, which is a task like none other, and I came across a whole stack of leftover designer paper, and this is all from the Paisley prints designer series paper. So I thought, okay, I've got to do something with it. So I'm going to walk you through what I've come up with. I'm going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. It can be any color cardstock. Once again, it was a scrap, and it's going to be 4 inches by 4.5 inches. And then all you're going to need is your snail and a pair of snips. So I'm going to start everything kind of on an angle, and my first piece is going to be the most important. I'm going to just take this and make a cut. We're going to go a little bit further than halfway and then flip the paper over. So let me go ahead and get this one stuck down. Make sure I've got my angle the way I want it. Yep, and stick it down. And then this one, we'll go right on next to it. I know it's going to fit because all these strips were the same width. Then just take your paper snips and trim off your excess. It doesn't have to be perfect because then we're going to die cut this out later. Alright, then I'm going to grab my next strip. Yeah, let's do it right about there. When I used to do cards like this, I would try to have it all cut and then stick them down. This is far easier, I will tell you. Alright, and then I'm going to do some of this pattern here in a bit. I'm going to go ahead and throw in this one right now. And it doesn't have to be an exact pattern. I could do it like this. If you're quilters, you know which pattern I'm looking at, because out of habit, that's where I typically will start. So I'm going to try to make this as random as possible. Okay, and grab another one. So I'm just going to finish doing this, filling in covering up all the white cardstock. Once you have it all pieced together, then you just want to die cut it into whatever shape you want. And so I use the new Framelits. This is from the Labels collection from Stampin' Up, and so I just die cut it. And now we're ready to do our quilting for it. So all I did was run it through the Square Lattice embossing folder. Once again, it's another embossing folder from Stampin' Up. I think that this one is by far the best embossing folder on the market when you want to do the faux quilting. Now we're ready to stamp our sentiment. So I'm going to take the Thank You from the Thank You Kindly stamp set, and I'm stamping it onto a scratch piece of Whisper White, and I'm stamping it in early Espresso ink. I'm just going to take my paper snips and leave about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch on the left hand side. I'm going to just randomly trim right there, and then take my square punch. I love my square punch. I don't think I ever use it though to punch out a square. I use it for everything else. So I'm just going to make a cute little pennant on the right hand side there. Next I'm going to take a Stampin' sponge, also in the early Espresso ink, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp these edges. Now, with stamping sponges, I highly recommend you start with a light coat of your ink and then add more, because remember, it's always easier to add more than to try to take away. Alright, now, so I've got that done. For our card, I'm going to be using 2 pieces of Whisper White. These are going to be 5 1/4 inches by 4, both of them the same size. And I'm going to go ahead and do the sponging around that right now. Once again, less is more. You can always add more. Do this one. So these pieces of Whisper White are going to be for the outside of our card and the inside of our card. And then I'm also going to do the piece that we did the faux quilting and the die cutting with. So all this is still being done in that early Espresso ink. And then we're ready to start doing our assembly. So let's go ahead and start with the base of our card. It's going to be early Espresso, 5 1/2 inches by 8 1/2 inches, scored at 4 1/4. So I'm just going to fold that, use my bone folder, get that nice crisp edge. Then let's turn to the inside. I'm going to use my snail, dot, dot, not a lot, and I'm going to take a piece of that Whisper White that we did the sponging on and put that right into the center. Then on the front of my card, more snail, dot, dot, not a lot, and the other piece of Whisper White. Now, in true sense of using up scraps, I also have these 2 pieces of early espresso I had left over from Christmas cards. And so they're each going to be 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inches, and I had even already done the dry embossing. So this is with Stampin' Up! Snowburst embossing folder. So now's the perfect time to use them as well. So on the inside of my card, add some snail. And use that up. And then we'll do the other one in just a moment here. So let's turn our attention to the focal point of our card. Ahead of time, I went ahead and die cut out using the neck size of the Framelits label collection, a piece of Always Artichoke cardstock. So then I'm going to take some early espresso 1/8 inch taffeta ribbon and measure it out, grab my ribbon scissors, and then I'm going to take a mini glue dot, and I want them to go right into this cute little indentation. So I don't know what makes an indentation cute, but this one sure is. And one on the other side as well. Then I'm going to take this ribbon and just wrap it around. There. This is going to get some snail onto that Always Artichoke. And get that good and stuck down. Now I'm going to take some more snail, and I'm going to do it right along the same edge of the Always Artichoke where our ribbon is. Now I want to use this other scrap, and I want it to be right in the center of that ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these 2 layers together first. I'm really just eyeballing for right now. I can adjust it here in a minute if it's crooked. And then I'm going to add this layer onto my card. Alrighty. Now we're going to turn back to our sentiment. So I'm going to take my bone folder. I'm going to start breaking apart the fibers of this cardstock. So when I first do it, I wanted a mountain under the thank and a valley under the U. So then to put it on our card, well, first we have to add our brad. So I've got the antique brads, and I've got my little mat and my paper piercer. So I'm just going to make a hole down through there, add my cute little brad, and open up the prongs on the back side. So I'm going to grab my dimensionals. I'm going to take one and put it there, take another one. I'm just going to lay it right on top, and this is behind the thank part. Get that all peeled off. And then under the U part is going to just get some snail. So this is going to help hold the curvature of those words. And I'm going to put this right where the brad is, right in the center of our little focal point. And then those dimensionals will help hold the S of that curve. And then I tied a little piece of early espresso ribbon, the same ribbon we used before, tied in a cute little bow. Grab a mini glue dot, and this will also go right into the center of our card. And then there you've got your thank you card using up scraps that you've got laying around your stamp room. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video tutorial. To learn more about rubber stamping for card making and scrapbooking, be sure to visit www.iteachstamping.com. And remember, I don't just sell rubber stamps, I teach you how to use them. Have a great day.